Woman's strange shed goes viral after her best friend takes a look inside. Jori Wilkinson was a mom on a mission, with a baby on the way, a house that she and her husband were trying to renovate and sell, and a pasture full of farm animals to care for. Life apparently just wasn't enough of a challenge for her, so Jori added a DIY project of very odd proportions to her busy schedule. Once the hardworking heroine was done, she surprised her family and friends with the unveiling of a lifetime. Jori and her husband Gage were a happily married couple, ready for anything, but in 2020, they found their lives turned upside down by a new member of the family on the way. Jori was 7 months pregnant, and, as if that wasn't hard enough already, they had even more daily challenges waiting for them. The couple owned a small farm, which included several chickens, a few horses, and a couple of goats. Not the kind of life for everyone, but it brought them peace and joy. On top of taking care of the farm and Jori's pregnancy needs, the two pioneers decided to take on a special renovation project. To save money for their baby, the couple decided to sell their cabin home, but not before renovating it to perfection. They redesigned the home from top to bottom, and when the day came to leave, they were proud of their success. The only issue was moving back in with mom and dad. The plan was to move back to Jori's parents' house until they figured something else out. She and Gage then talked about moving into a trailer with their newborn baby until Jori had a stroke of genius. Though you could argue it was more like a stroke of madness. Rather than move into a trailer and be packed in like sardines, Jori suggested they build their own home. She heard all about the tiny home craze that spread across the country and thought the idea would be perfect for them. Of course, all her plans would go up in smoke if Gage wasn't up for the downsized lifestyle. Fortunately, Jori truly married her soulmate. Gage was all about these types of construction challenges, being a handyman himself. These two were crazy enough together to agree on the idea. They just needed the right space to start the challenge. Rather than building the tiny home from scratch, Jori wondered about using a shed. She found an old but sturdy shed that was only 400 square feet, knowing in her heart that it would someday be her new home. But another part of her asked the question, are we really going to fit in this thing? The plan was set into motion. Jori and Gage stayed at Jori's parents' house, paying rent, taking care of their farm and newborn son Cash, all while reconstructing the empty shed into a cozy home. Little by little, the shack of a shed transformed into a homeowner's dream. The first thing to go up was the walls of their home, which oftentimes had to be done late into the night. Gage was the perfect man for the construction job, and while he was the muscle of the operation, Jori was the brain. She laid out some brilliant ideas for the minimal space. Jori's design genius was in full swing. She even drew up a floor plan herself, with measurements and all the essentials of a home in mind. The tag team had everything planned, including the perfect space for their son. For their baby boy Cash, Jori's floor plan set up a room that was 8'9" by 7'6" that could fit the little boy's crib with room to spare for storage, plus enough space to fit 2 adults. Though it may be a little cramped for grown-ups to stand in, it was ideal for the little baby boy. The rest of the house had room to spare. Just outside of baby Cash's room is the living room, which fits their small couch that sits across from the TV and fireplace. It looks like a cozy place to relax for sure, but just wait until you see the master bedroom. Jori recognized that she and Gage had just enough room to make for a snug master bedroom. Measuring at 10.5 by 7 feet, they decided to go for it and squeeze in a king-size bed. Jori admits the inconvenience, saying it's kind of hard to make the bed, but it's really cozy. That sounds like success to me. Now, we're sure you may have concerns with tiny homes, specifically when it comes to two spaces, the kitchen and the bathroom. You'd think with the limited space they had to work with, these spaces would be terribly cramped. Think again. Jori and Gage were able to create just enough space throughout the entire home. The bathroom had enough space for a sink, a toilet, and even a bathtub. The natural look of the wood, along with the addition of their little plants, brings peace to this quaint little bathroom. But the really exciting part of the home is in the kitchen. Having a big enough kitchen can be the make or breaking point for many homeowners. But even with the small space they had to work with, the DIY duo created the right kind of space for any chef to cook in. They used a simple but ingenious design to make even more space. Jori and Gage used their space to its fullest capacity, not only installing shelves that reached up toward the ceiling, but also using an L-shaped design for the counter for extra space. As amazing as all their work is, there is one part of the house that may be a bit too cramped. In between the kitchen and the master bedroom lies the laundry room, which Jori calls a laundry hall. There just wasn't enough space to space out their laundry machines, so they stacked them onto one another. Most houses are like this anyway, so it's not a big issue, and no one in the happy family seems to mind. Jori shared this incredible project on her Instagram, receiving the greatest support in the world. Even her parents took part in the actual construction, supplying them with quality wood that was used for their ceiling. Then came Jori's best friend, Holly. Her approval would be the real game changer. As a lover of all things DIY, Holly was a huge fan of what Jori and Gage were doing. She hosts her own YouTube channel, Living It Country, where she helps hundreds of viewers design their perfect country home. Holly was so impressed with her best friend's tiny home, she had to have Jori as a guest. Jori was a little nervous about being on camera, but while filming Holly's show, her pride in her work took over.